Rather risk me being hurt than never get the chance to live. Every time I'll take.
All right, Jaeschel, what up?
Not much, just chilling, going through the motions. Yep.
All right, so I'm here with Jaeschel to talk about our spring collection. When I was coming up with some ideas for it, I had an initial meeting with Luke to create the visual identity and use disco rock and roll as a reference, and he came up with this cool, energetic font and feel with the run exclamation point. And one of our Boston guys, Fidelis, is a big graffiti fan, and he created this full graffiti style Heartbreak logo with a little R dot in there. So we had this really fun visual identity, and I knew you were a musician. We had a guy on the team who had some synthesizers from the true 80s synth era, a full collection, and I came up with this idea to get you guys collaborating, to give a soundscape to this really cool visual identity that our team came up with. So what I came to the table with was this idea of earworms by athletes, doodles by daydreamers, unexpected friendships, fresh collaborations. And to me, that sort of gave rise to all of these things together. Music by you, our guys working in the shop, thinking about the brand, how to make it pop, and then with the disco rock and roll references, I came to you and said, hey, I got this crazy idea. Maybe I get you some synth, some music, some musicality that you might not be able to get IRL, that you'll be using digital samples of. We can get somebody who can play for you, give you a bunch of references, and then you went wild. I said, I want the Young Jay reference, make this modern. And you just, you didn't need much direction. You said, I love it. And you went. Can you talk about that process, getting in and creating that soundscape?
So I know generally the way that I like to make music, I like to come in with inspiration from different sounds and different eras and stuff like that. I know that one of my favorite artists is Pharrell and Travis Scott, mainly because they are producer artists. Therefore, they know how to take a sound that they've heard and still recreate it and then put their own spin on it. So I know I hit you up, I was like, hey, can you give me some references of some people that are or some sounds at that time, because obviously I'm not from there. And I was like,
Young Jay, Old Dan, that's okay.
Simple, Young Jay and Old Dan, there it is. But yeah, cooked up, listened to a lot of the things that I found, a lot of sounds and textures that I really liked and I wanted to implement in. And obviously with working with Andy Hearns, exceptional musician and crazy instruments and all that stuff, I was able to basically have an idea, have a blueprint of what I wanted to do. And that was take those synths, but not just put the synth behind a regular beat, but maybe throw some modern day 808s, maybe throw some modern day ad-lib and stuff like that. Add that little spin to it to kind of still encapsulate the idea that you had, but also put it into almost in my own way, in my own language. And it was fun.
Sick.
From there.
You did it. Yeah. I mean, it was a crazy idea, and I have no musical experience other than I saw two talented people. I said, how can we get them working together? And I said, I want your twist. I don't want you to do what you might think I want you to do. And you didn't. And I love what you came up with.
Thank you.
Also, I think it should be noted, the name Temporary Euphoria that we put on all the posters, that's yours.
Yeah, I guess.
Talk about where that came from.
Yeah, so the whole premise of the term Temporary Euphoria is Dan he told me to mix up both running, but then don't say run. And I'm trying to think, what are these things that are around running that people feel that are also seen in disco times and parties and stuff like that. And one of those things came to was temporary euphoria, deliberately coming from runner's high and the adjacent of that being actually high or something like that.
Right.
Or same thing with maybe so in the lyrics I go, I keep looking and looking between the moon and the sun. The moon, that could be, between the moon and the sun could be daytime when someone's going out for a run, or also late at night. Lost in the moment, don't know where I become, literally feeling your run, while you're in the run, feeling that happiness and stuff like that. And it was just trying to tie in those little commonalities between having a party and being up late at night or going up for a very early run before the sun comes up. Those little things, trying to tie those things together. And I guess the thing that stuck out the most with this was the phrase temporary euphoria, having that moment of bliss while you're running or while you're at a party where everything is moving and you're having fun.
Yes, we are. I should note, we're working with the Harvard student here.
Something like that, yeah.
This man got the assignment. He nailed the assignment. I don't know how much I talked. We talked a full car ride, maybe a few hours over the course of the creative process, and This man understood the assignment. You took it everywhere I wanted it to be.
It was fun.
Couldn't even think of how to get it where you brought it. So I was super proud of what you pulled off.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me. It was fun.
Yeah. When I talked about, we talk about the Heartbreak brand. We say that the logo is defined by a line.
Yeah.
And I think about that line as the line between love and heartbreak, or victory and defeat, or going hard in a race and exploding. Whichever. There's always a line between all out, all in, and then the flip side of that is like it could go really badly.
Yeah.
And that's like what we're named after. We're named after the tough part, heartbreak. But we make it fun. We give the little wink and we say like, when you fall, you get back up. Michael Jordan missed shots. He lost championships. That's just part of being an athlete. That's part of being a musician. Can you talk about what riding that line feels like? From a music perspective, you had your album come out day before or day of Crimson Jam.
Crimson Jam, yeah.
And I had heard the album. I wasn't experiencing it, and then I saw your concert via social media, and it looked crazy, and it was fun. Like such a breakout. Can you talk about, like, to me, that's another example of like living on that line. That sort of like, you can go and it could go poorly, or you can go and it could go like yours.
So the whole thing, I actually talk about this in the second song called Chance to Live. The whole premise is basically I want to do a lot of things in life, right? Like, as you mentioned, I'm an engineer, I'm also a student athlete, but I'm also a musician, and I want to be able to accomplish all those things to the max. And I recognize that pursuing one of them might cause one of them to break, but like, I still want to take that chance in the song, Chance to Live. And basically, like, the whole premise behind that is just, I don't like to be limited. I don't like to think that I can't do something because I'm doing something else. So by still trying to push and trying to get after it, maybe something else might break, but if I'm trying, at least something else might go full send. And that was kind of like the inspiration for that song, the inspiration behind taking the sounds. I know when talking to Andy, we had a period where we had a lot of sounds on one song, and we were like, we pushed the threshold and we kind of went too much. Like this is a little excessive. So we started stripping out some parts. I know the second half of Temporary Euphoria, we stripped away a lot of the sound, and it's really just the bass and my vocals. And the plan for that was kind of modeling what you're saying, like, you might push, you might break it, but as long as we're going for it, we'll still be able to get it. And I like to think we got it, and the song came out cool. So
I think you got it. You got it. And I think as an athlete, you feel all these lines, right? You push that creative side. As an athlete, a lot of people can relate to the idea of like running a race and going as hard as you can, but that is fully on evidence when you're a jumper. You're a long jumper, you're a triple jumper. When you're doing the long jump, you have to go as fast as you possibly can, hit the board right on the line, as precise as you possibly can, and instantly take that precision and blast it as far as you can go. It's all about that line. That's either it doesn't count at all, or it's a great jump. Can you talk about that framing as an athlete too?
100%. Literally, like, the whole thing with long jump is you're trying to get as close as possible to that line without breaking, without going over, or else you're gonna foul. And if we're talking about like with sports specifically with me, I know that I had last 2 seasons where I was like getting hurt back and forth, and like the whole premise this season was we're gonna push it as hard as we can, but still stay healthy. And like it's just basically that whole premise where like you gotta try to get after it every single day, trying to still lock in and trying to execute the best I can, but also like recognize there's still that threshold of my hamstring popping again. So make sure that we're still on top of everything, stay loaded, stay locked together, so that when that meet comes, I can get to that line as close as possible and take off. And hopefully, in a couple weeks, I'm planning to go a little 8 meters, but hopefully we get out there and break some records.
Love it. Okay, so the album, Temporary Euphoria.
Yes.
The collection, Heartbreak, Run, Spring 23, Temporary Euphoria. We got a performance tonight right here. Check out Young Jay. You want to spell that out for him?
YOUNGJAE.
No space.
No space. No space.
Young Jay. Find him on Spotify.
I'm Jaeschel everywhere else. JAESCHEL. Anywhere else, you can find me there. And this was sick. Thank you.
Peace. Thank you.